Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. This will be your weekly astrology for the week of August 27th to September 2nd of 2023. This week we have Uranus going retrograde and that full moon in Pisces. All right, let's jump right into it. All right, so let's get started for this week on Sunday the 27th. We have a couple things happening today. So first thing is Mars will be coming into the sign of Libra. And on this day also we will have the Sun in opposition to Saturn. So with Mars in Libra, we're shifting our passion, our drive, our oomph type energy from these Virgoan themes of like our day-to-day life, day-to-day schedules, fixing things, perfecting things, kind of maybe an OCD tendency, kind of dealing with all of these little things. Maybe a passion for our health and things like that. And now we're moving into the sign of Libra where we're more focusing on the other. Maybe more focusing on relationships, more focusing on harmony, on balance between whoever we're kind of dealing with in our lives in that sense. So it's kind of interesting. Libra is a Venus-ruled sign, and so Mars is kind of coming into this more feminine kind of territory. In traditional astrology, Mars obviously doesn't do very well in Libra, but if you kind of consider it from a bit of a higher perspective in relating kind of the energies of both the planet and the sign that it's in, the passion for Mars within Libra is going to be for those Libran things, harmony, balance, the aesthetic, beauty. So it's kind of bringing your passion into a lot of maybe more of these Venusian kind of themes surrounding beauty, relationships, harmony, balance, those kinds of things. Maybe being a bit more on the fence, noticing both sides of an issue, and just trying to take more action towards finding more harmony and balance with other people in our lives. Of course, this is also where the South Node is, so we want to be wary of being in a kind of a place of codependency, because there's certain types of these themes that are maybe from the past, although maybe this is coming up with this Mars ingress here, as Mars does currently rule the North Node here in Aries. So there may be this kind of aspect of where do we want to go in our individual selves and take action on, but what we've known with this nodal arrangement here is, so with North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra, what we know the most is where the South Node is, because that's where we've been before. So with Mars here, we may kind of feel a drive to maybe bring that stuff up, but with the North Node in Aries, we may want to bring it up into more of an independent way, or to try to balance this out in the way that's not just going to benefit the other, but benefit us as well. So it's like taking this action to have more of a balanced approach. And I say that in a sense that yes, Libra rules like balance and like the other person, but balance between them and also you. Try to find harmony in a way that's going to maybe benefit both of you, or honor the individuality in each of you in that sense as well. So that could be kind of something that's coming up in that way as well. We also still have Pluto squaring that nodal axis, which it will be for a while, which is really interesting because it's kind of really pushing us into this new space, especially with Pluto in Capricorn, retrograde in Capricorn, so revealing a lot of hidden things behind our structures and bringing them up and realizing, where this codependency lies and where the true justice needs to lie within that, and where we need to find true balance and not be basically a doormat, right? One of the negative aspects of Libra is if you're too nice, if you're too giving to the other people and not focusing on yourself enough, you just basically become a doormat, and people take advantage of that, right? And we see a lot of that through corporations, through governments, through a lot of the structures in our world and in our lives. And with Pluto squaring this, it's maybe bringing a realization that we need to find more balance and harmony, but towards maybe ourselves a bit more, really focusing on that, because what we know is that South Node area. So maybe Mars is here trying to fight for proper balance, proper harmony, proper justice for these things, to bring that right aspect of balance, so that we aren't leaving ourselves out within kind of these types of situations. Also on this day, we're going to have the Sun in Virgo opposing Saturn in Pisces. Again, Saturn retrograde here in Pisces. So Sun opposed Saturn, if you're just taking that from a straight up basic astrological level, it can be very difficult, right? You're in this opposition to Saturn. Saturn's like the boss, the the mean parent. It's kind of standing there, it's illuminating that and being like, hey, you got to put in the work, you got to do this. But we have to take a look at this here, is that Saturn is retrograde, right? So it's not moving forward, it's retrograde, and it's in Pisces. So we're looking at kind of the behind the scenes things of, that exists behind our bosses, the mean parent, that kind of stuff. What exists behind that, right? This is kind of like on the axis of health. So with the sun in Virgo, dealing with our physical health, also our day-to-day lives, practicality. Pisces dealing with more of like our mental health, right? Pisces is kind of what's hidden, what isn't like materially tangible to us, right? Pisces rules spirituality, rules the media, creativity, dreams, things that aren't tangible in our reality, right? Pisces is the realization that there is no real structure, and Saturn is that structure. So with Saturn in Pisces, it's like the dissolving of this structure, but that dissolving happens when we see what's really holding up that structure, the foundation of that structure. And with Saturn retrograde, it's this inwardly focused or bringing up these things that have been kind of hidden. Like Saturn's not moving forward, Saturn's going back, and it's in Pisces, bringing up these things that have been hidden, that maybe have been manipulated in this way. So with this opposition, it could be kind of like realizing maybe where we've been pushed too hard, maybe where we've been pushed too much in these things, and trying to find balance in that. It can be a difficult aspect because obviously with Pluto here in Capricorn, that Saturnian energy is going to still want to, push. They're still going to want to push for that control. But the thing is, with Pluto retrograde here, we're seeing through it, right? This is retrograde. This is going over all ground. This is introspective. Pluto is the wrecking ball here in Capricorn, is bringing the truth to the surface, these things to the surface that we need to see from these Capricornian kind of aspects and things. So it's bringing these things up to the surface. So yes, this transit could still be difficult. We could still, maybe feel overworked or overburdened. Pisces also rules sleep. Again, Virgo like health. Or our day-to-day lives, our day-to-day schedules as well. Are we finding the right balance in these areas? What parts of these structures need to dissolve, need to disappear? What parts of them are being revealed for being the evil that they are, that actually needs to be transformed and changed in this sense? So yes, there's that normal difficulty that can come with this opposition, this balance that needs to happen, but it's forcing a balance that really needs to come out into our world. And it's like, what structures need to be dissolved? What's the truth that's coming out here that really needs to be looked at, right? And this can be on an emotional or a sensitive level as well with Saturn in Pisces, but I feel it's very much with the sun in Virgo, it's illuminating from this place of our day-to-day lives, day-to-day schedules, practical things in our lives, and our health. That's what this is shining on, these structures, and how these structures, they need to dissolve in a way to have a more proper balance with these things, in our lives. All right, so let's move on to Monday here. So on Monday, we don't have too much going on. The big thing here would be Uranus turns retrograde. So you can't see it in the chart here quite yet. It doesn't happen until late in the evening, or later than what I have it set anyway. I believe I can double check the time. So 8:11 p.m. So basically almost a half an hour later from when this chart is set. All right, so with Uranus retrograde, it's going to match all the other planets now that are retrograde, like Venus, Mercury, Pluto, Saturn, Chiron, and pretty soon Jupiter is going to be going retrograde. So we're going to be moving into a lot of the planets retrograde, a lot of introspection. With Uranus here, this is change. This is also technology. This is kind of like rebellion, radicalness, but where things need to be shaken up, right? In the sign of Taurus, we're dealing a lot with our material things, relationships, it could be career, money, those Venusian types of things where we feel good in our lives. And of course, with this retrograde, it's going to be realizing, where do we need to change, right? So we had earlier like this Venus, when she was kind of going retrograde, just kind of squaring this Uranus type energy. And now Venus is still kind of in square to this Jupiter. So there's this expansion of this Venus retrograde as well. And Venus is the ruler of Taurus, where Uranus is in. So there's this kind of doubling down of this retrograde type energy, at least for the first bit, because Venus will go direct here within about a week or so. So there's this very introspective focus on maybe where we need to like shift and change these parts of our lives, or where these shakeups have already happened, and where we need to look within on what that means for us, right? Where we need to kind of look at these themes in our lives and figure out, what is not stable, right? I mean, it's like it's kind of like the test of Uranus, right? If Uranus can enter and try to shake things up, but things still remain stable, well, then you've got a good foundation on your hands. But if Uranus comes in and literally just destroys, like a bull in a china shop, well, then, China's fragile, right? You can't just have a bull run in there and smash everything. If you want something to have a solid structure, it needs to have a solid structure. And this is also kind of what Uranus and Taurus may be revealing to us. However, Uranus and Taurus is very stubborn and kind of like hard to nudge and move around, right? So with this Uranian energy here, this stuff is like hard to change. So with this retrograde, it's very kind of like intro focused. I want to say introverted, but I mean, that kind of works. But it's this introspective focus on maybe what we need to change in our, in how we, I almost want to say ground ourselves into our reality, but also in our themes. Our reality in the sense of our career, relationships, jobs, money, material things, that kind of stuff. This could be reflecting of, maybe where we need to make changes in these kinds of areas in our lives. All right, so that's going to start late here on Monday, and Uranus won't go direct, I don't believe, until the end of January of 2024. And the only other thing really happening on this day is the moon entering into Aquarius. So I won't touch on that too much. I don't really want to spend too much time on the moon going through this. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's move forward. So Tuesday the 29th, we don't have anything peaking on that day. So then we head into Wednesday the 30th. So this is kind of the big day with this full moon here in Pisces. We're also going to have this Mercury and quincunx to Chiron. So this full moon in Pisces, again, we have this flavor of Saturn there as well, too, right? So the sun, it's still kind of in this opposition. The moon is still kind of conjunct Saturn, like it was conjunct and it's coming off of it at the exact of this full moon, but Saturn's still playing a role. So like I said, this could be illuminating these subconscious themes now of kind of what I already said about this sun opposition Saturn. This could be actually a very difficult kind of full moon. And of course, this is a blue moon. People, say once in a blue moon because, a blue moon is a full moon that happens twice in 1 month, which doesn't happen very often. But that's just because our calendar system is stupid, for, lack of a better word, I guess. It doesn't really flow with the actual, cycles and things of our world. Our calendar system is more kind of a made up kind of thing. So again, with this full moon, the moon here is adding maybe a more emotional or subconscious type of aspect to this sun kind of opposition Saturn area, and maybe what we need to release in these ways. So things may have come up on Sunday regarding that opposition that I spoke about. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it again, but with the full moon here, it's maybe, what we need to release in terms of those themes, right? Remember, this is dealing with our health, these structures in our lives, and maybe try to restrict that in some way. And this revealing of what's maybe been going on behind the scenes, of what we need to release in a lot of those ways and kind of let go of. For this sun in Virgo energy, it's this health, this day-to-day aspect, what we need to fix, what we need to perfect, in illuminating maybe what needs to, what's been hidden behind the scenes, what needs to dissolve that we haven't been shown or haven't been seen, that's now been coming to light. Also here, we're going to have Mercury retrograde, quincunx to Chiron. So yes, Mercury is now retrograde. It's been retrograde since the 23rd. It is retrograde while I'm recording this video. Just went retrograde roughly an hour and a half ago-ish. A couple hours, an hour and a half ago from when I'm recording this. So with this quincunx now, Mercury is already kind of introspective now that it's retrograde. It's slowing down. We need to kind of look within, dealing with these Virgoan themes, of course, with, like I said, our day-to-day lives, our health, practical things, maybe what we need to fix, what we need to work on, but maybe not taking action on these things yet, but just really having a solid look, right? And with this quincunx to Chiron in Aries is kind of like, our wound to self. It's like where are these frustrations maybe within our day-to-day lives where we have felt wounded, or maybe where we need to kind of integrate these wounds, try to heal them and fix them. Remember, Virgo is about health. It could be about physical health. These could be physical wounds where we've had physical effects maybe from certain health things. This could even be physical effects from mental health too, right? Because that affects us physically, right? So it's like where we need to kind of look at these things, and this could be frustrating, right? There's could be frustrations that can come up with this, especially since we've had Sun opposition Saturn and this full moon dealing with that kind of stuff. Things could have come up regarding this, and there could be frustrations with this quincunx, where we need to have a look at these things and learn to integrate these wounds and work with it and understand these frustrations. Remember, Chiron's retrograde here too. So this is very introspective energy and going over these old spaces to try to figure out how we can fix this within our own selves, right? And to kind of slow down and take a second look and where we can perfect, but perfect in a way that's not going to stress us the hell out. Right? Virgo can be, a bit neurotic in a sense, in that it wants perfection, it wants everything kind of sorted. But with Mercury retrograde here, it's like, slow down, take your time to look at the details, take your time to look at this, be more introspective with it, so that perfection comes more from a natural, less stressed kind of a space. All right, so let's move on to Thursday here. And Thursday, there's actually nothing peaking here on this day for major transits. So let's move on to Friday, September 1st. So we're starting off September. And on this day, we're going to have the moon moving into Aries, and then we're going to have Mars in quincunx to Saturn. So now Mars in Libra, Saturn in Pisces. So Mars is going to have this drive, this passion here for balance, for harmony, for these things. And Pisces, the thing is, Libra is a sign ruled by Venus. Pisces is a sign that, it's not ruled by Venus, but Venus likes being in Pisces. So you have this very kind of Venusian kind of energy, this feminine type of energy, but there's a frustration here between these two, in traditional astrology, malefic planets, Mars and Saturn. Right, so Saturn is retrograde. So like I said, it could be revealing these things that kind of maybe have been hidden in terms of these structures, this control, this restriction in our lives. And with Mars in Libra, it wants balance, it wants justice, it wants harmony. So what's not harmonizing from these things that are being revealed, right? So there could be a frustration here regarding that. Mars wants this harmony and everything, but there's kind of these things coming up. And this could be in our relationships as well, the structures of our relationships, where we've made maybe commitments, right? Saturn and Capricorn are goals, they're kind of commitments. This could be commitments in these partnerships where they have faltered what was really the meaning between those commitments and partnerships that were happening. There's a frustration that happens here. And with this moon in Aries, it can kind of maybe set us off emotionally, right? Moon in Aries is very reactive. So it could be a frustration type energy, but it could be, reactive, right? Especially since as the moon ingresses into Aries, it's going to be opposing this Mars. So there could be a sense of maybe a volatile or volatility of emotions around these kinds of themes, right? And this could be like a feminine energy that could be, gaining power in this sense, but also this focus on maybe relationships and this harmony within that. And if that's not existing, there could be like maybe a power struggle or something going on here, or definitely that frustration that I have mentioned throughout this time. So kind of be wary of that. And then, of course, the last day of this week, Saturday the 2nd, we have no major transits peaking. So yeah, it looks to be an interesting week. Anyway, I hope everyone has a good week. Just take care of yourselves. We got a lot of kind of Virgo energy stuff going on. Mercury is retrograde. Remember to slow down. Take the time to look at the details. Enjoy the finer things in life. And take care to have a good week, all right? If you like this video, you know what to do. If you didn't like this video, you also know what to do. Feel free to leave a comment below, just letting me know what you think. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. All my links and everything are, of course, in the description below. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a great week. Take care. Bye for now. Bye.